Hello, this is Abby.
Dear Abby, this is gonna be a long one.
Oh boy.
Dear Abby, how do you tell the difference between a new exciting crush and a rebound?
Does it matter?
Dear Abby.
Dear Abby,
Dear Abby.
Welcome to our little corner of the internet. This is the Dear Abby podcast. I hope you stay and hang out with us. See you in a sec. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Dear Abby. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoy today's episode. So today is one of those days or podcasts, those episodes where I'm feeling all over the place. It's more going to be like a diary entry than anything else like self-helpy or anything like that, or self-care or anything like that. We're still going to do a Dear Abby, of course, at the end of the episode. We have a call. I'm excited to listen to that. For this episode, I just wanted to give a long update, I guess, on life, brain, stuff, me, feelings. Sometimes I don't know where to begin, so I'm just going to begin with the list of things that I have in my head. Number one, something which I don't know if I shared on the podcast before, but also, sorry, how rude of me. Before I begin, I hope you're having a great day. I really do. I hope the holidays are exciting to you, that they can be a time of peace and quiet. And even though it feels like there's a bunch of things to do, just make sure you take time. Just give yourself time to soak it all in. You know, we can get so carried away in wanting everything to be totally perfect for the holidays, to look perfect, everyone to get along or whatever it is. And sometimes that makes us miss just the simplicity and also the presence of being with people or just being alone with yourself. And so now I can jump into today's episode because I feel so rude every time I just jump on in. So as I was starting to say, a while ago, I went to my sister's. A while ago, I had the privilege to be invited to my sister's live show for their podcast, What We Said. And she asked me if I could do an interview type thing with people, like standing in line, waiting to get in, waiting to take a picture in like the Teza booth that they had up. And I was excited. I said yes, of course, wanted to help. But I was also shaking in my boots because I am a little bit anxious when it comes to social situations, especially group settings. If I'm like in control in a way, or if I'm kind of leading the conversation and I have to, when it's like a job, I can handle it. But I just overthink my interactions with other people. I know that about myself. And it's a very immediate thing that happens. I almost don't feel like I can control it. Sometimes I just have to stand by and witness what's happening in my brain as I'm having a discussion, or after, usually is when it gets really crazy, of analyzing everything that I said, that they said. Did I say something that hurt them? Did I say something that was taken the wrong way? Or maybe I have bad intention, or I don't know, just classic overthinking, OCD, rumination, like compulsions to figure it out. But anyways, with knowing that it might be triggering for me, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm excited because I'm just going to be like, I just want to be with these people who are excited to watch my sister's show and JC, and I just want to be here for them and support them and just have fun. Like, it doesn't have to be that deep. I can just like go have fun. Also, on top of being a little bit anxious with social interactions, I also am pretty introverted. And how I would define my introversion is I'm introverted if I'm around people that I'm introverted around people that I don't feel comfortable being myself with, which I feel like that's like a lot of people. That's like everyone. So I don't even know if that's introverted, but if I'm around too many people, I don't feel like myself when I'm around other people fully. I don't know how to describe it, but I can, but I need time alone to reset, to like ground myself, to feel like I'm in my body and let's do this. And then I can be with people and feel like myself again. But it does take me, I do need to like have that recharged alone, like totally alone. So with that, I started these interviews. I was trying to be goofy, silly, and I was talking to people. I was asking questions. I tried to not overthink like the interaction and just have fun and ask the questions. And I remember afterward, and I probably did like 5 interviews. And again, these are like 2, 3 questions long. I was absolutely drained. I was so tired and exhausted. And it's not like other people exhaust me. Like, and I think sometimes I feel bad saying like a social interaction exhausted me because I don't want someone else to think that like they've exhausted me. It's just, it's, it's, it's something that's happening internally for me in my experience internally of almost feeling like I'd rather just keep to myself because I don't want to get rejected for some reason. You would think at this age you don't care too much about that, but that is still something that comes up. And so it was kind of a mix of everything that was making me feel exhausted. And then I had a bunch more to do. And it was really fun. And also I was thinking, how do people do this? Like if they're on the red carpet or if they're interviewing as like a job, that is not the job that I would be good at because I was so tired after a couple of interviews. And that was the very beginning of my job to do. But it did get me thinking how if I was extroverted and if I was recharged with other people, if I could be recharged by other people, how hurt I would be if someone introverted just like didn't want to spend time with me, or if they just like kept saying that they would rather be alone. I can see how that would be hurtful. I have no idea where I'm going with this, but basically, I know I talk about introverted a lot, and I don't know if a lot of my listeners are introverted, but I've probably talked about it before. But also, this is to my extroverted people out there. On behalf of anyone introverted, I'm genuinely sorry if we have hurt your feelings by the things that we say, how we say it, or acting like we don't need other people, because that's not even truly how we feel as, being more introverted. It's not like I never get recharged by, it's not like we never get recharged by other people either, or we don't think that we don't want to be with other people. And we don't believe that extroverted people, this is such a weird tangent. This is such a random sideline, but I've been really thinking about this, obviously. I've just been really thinking about this in case I've ever made it seem like introverted is anything other than we need to recharge alone and then we cannot wait to be with other people. We just want to feel grounded before we do, because we can sometimes just feel, at least for me, I can feel overwhelmed, get stagnant mentally in a conversation, basically. So my extroverted people, listeners, I'm sorry if introverted people have ever made you feel bad or something. I just feel like it'd be hurtful if I was excited to be with somebody and then you have a friend who's introverted, but they like make that their whole thing, and then it's like hurtful to you because you're like, okay, well, I know it might be tiring, but I would love to spend time. Anyways, today has been one of those days where I have been crying on and off. I have a million different thoughts in my head, and I don't even really care about some of the thoughts in my head. It just is a nonstop what ifs or nonstop fake scenarios in my head, in my imagination. And it's not like fun imagination. It's like exhausting. Don't have an answer for it, but my brain is like, we need an answer. Something bad's about to happen. Something bad's about to happen. I'm just like on edge waiting for something bad to happen. And it gets worse for some reason at this time of the year. It's a wonderful, beautiful time. And it can also be a time where for some reason I feel even more doom and gloom over my head. It's also been cold. And so that really does affect my body. Like I feel kind of sick because it's been super rainy, and my body just feels more tired or achy. I've been working a lot. It's always busy this time of year, for most people. Friendly reminder for all of us who might feel something coming on. Let those feelings come up. Let those feelings really come up and take out time of your day to meditate, to journal, and take that seriously. Awesome. We just lost video. And especially if you're somebody that struggles with your mental health, or someone that does struggle with their mental health, take that seriously. And you deserve to have a really beautiful winter season and make that into whatever you want to make it, but also take the time to keep learning about yourself. There's not a one and done. I know everything about myself. I know everything about life. Hit the max joy. And especially if you struggle with your mental health, it sometimes can feel like I was good and now I'm really not. And then we can make mistakes, or maybe we're not feeling as good. And then sometimes we just keep tumbling further and further down, like a snowball effect of our mental health getting worse and worse and worse. And so take a moment to check in mentally, like really check in with yourself. If you have resources to get help again, get that help, prioritize that, because it is so important. There's really not much more that's important than your health, whether it be physical or mental. They're both just as important. And when you take the time out of your day to be with yourself, journal, meditate, pray, whatever it is that makes you feel, whatever it is to clear your mind, cry, listen to music, play music, draw, paint, like take time to do that, because that is such an important aspect of your day. And it might feel like everything else is more important than taking care of your health or your mental health, but we can't keep falling into that trap, because then we get worse and worse, and then we have to really claw back to feeling better. I've realized recently that a lot of like my limiting beliefs about myself, about my life, about life in general have been kind of creeping back in. A lot of kind of fear-based living has been creeping back in. I think just with rumination being insane, I've gotten not great sleep because I've had a lot of OCD obsession loopholes late at night. Like I'll wake up, I can't go back to sleep. It can just be so exhausting. I say this all the time, but a big part of feeling better is by feeling the whole range of the emotions that you're feeling. And feelings change and they come and go, and they're strong and then they grow weaker. That's how they are supposed to be. And sometimes we grow up and we're told to kind of suppress the emotions. And it might not be literally your family or your parents or your siblings or your friends or whoever or teachers literally said, hey, suppress your emotions. But there's just small things that maybe you kind of learned over time, that maybe your feelings are scary, they're too big, it's bad to feel things type of a situation. I notice that when I'm suppressing my emotional needs, it starts to make my body feel sick, and it starts to make my mental health get so much worse, because then your OCD or your depression or whatever can start playing with those emotions that are being suppressed, and they can make them feel like more of like that impending doom and bigger and scarier versus, up front and feeling them. They're not as big and scary. In fact, they'll teach you a lot about yourself. One of the biggest lies I think we can tell ourselves is that we don't get another chance, or that we don't deserve another chance. Let me stomp on that lie, because you do get another chance. You can always get another chance. You can always try again. You can always keep recovering. One thing that can get discouraging, and I think why we tell ourselves this lie, or maybe we might just start to believe it a little bit, is because we might be struggling with something, and we might have been struggling for a really, really long time. That's what I feel like with my mental illness, is like I just want it to be taken away from me so badly sometimes. And it just gets confusing, because I'll be doing really good, and then it'll come back and it'll be pretty bad. And then I'll be doing pretty good. Like it won't affect me. And then sometimes it really will affect me. And that can feel confusing. Like, am I doing better? Am I not doing better? Another trap that we can fall into is not letting yourself be excited for the future. Sometimes I will just anticipate being miserable forever, which is absolutely horrendous and not a good, healthy, helpful thing to do at all. And I can feel, and sometimes when I think about that, I feel almost like embarrassed, or I feel almost like an embarrassment or shame around that. Like I wish that I didn't feel like that, obviously, but I do struggle with that limiting belief about how my life can be and how I can actually feel that I can actually have a good future, like a good, happy future. Sometimes that can feel so far, which sounds really sad, and it feels really sad. And this is one of those things where it feels like an emotion that's being suppressed, so it feels huge, you know? So I just got to go through that. Like I got to feel it, I got to go through it, and I come back on the other end. It's just that's how sometimes these things work, and why it's important to not suppress everything, because then you're just going to be stuck. So instead of getting stuck with limiting beliefs about your future, open up your mind. We can try to open up our minds to other possibilities, like being happy and feeling accomplished. And I think a good journal entry or a good question and reflection to ask yourself is to write down some of the words and to envision your future. Like, how does it feel? Who's there? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What's a day in that life? What does your heart feel like? How's your mental health? What's your relationship like with your head, with your brain, with your mental? I think at first, sometimes this journal entry can be scary because it might just be super negative initially when you're trying to write it. Sometimes, for me at least, sometimes it could just be so negative. And I'm like, I don't even want to believe that, even though part of me maybe does. And we can work on that. But I don't want to believe that. Like, I want to believe in something good, and I'm going to fight to believe that. And so it might start off as like feeling like it's so far away from where you are right now and that it's so not going to happen like that. But keep practicing that and writing that stuff down and envisioning that and believing in that. The times where I feel really happy and myself, my life doesn't actually look that different. The circumstance of my life isn't that different. Like, I'm getting paid the same. My apartment has been the same. My routine, honestly, is not that different, other than I usually spend more time in self-reflection or learning about myself in peace and quiet. But my day-to-day looks pretty normal. So what really changes with that practice and that journal entry and envisioning a brighter future, the way you perceive life starts to change with that, because you believe and you it's like just the classic Christmas spirit, just believe. And it can be hard to believe because you don't want to get your heart broken, and I understand that. But you have a very bright future, and you can and you will be happy someday, even if it doesn't feel like it's ever going to happen. So I think that journal entry is a good place to start. Another lie, I guess that's the theme of today's episode. Let's just squash all those silly lies that we tell ourselves in our head. Another lie is that you're not boring. Life can be adventurous and fun, and you can make normal days be exciting and feel new. There's an infinite world out there. Don't sell yourself short. Don't cut yourself short from what you can accomplish, whether that's in a bunch of different areas. There's one of my favorite quotes on Pinterest that I have saved is a quote that says, "Your brain is lying to you. God is not as sick of you as you are of yourself." I really don't believe that God gets sick of helping us or that it's annoying that we can't get something right away or understand something after the 20th time. God or the universe, whatever you believe, is insanely patient, where we can't even really comprehend how or why we receive so much grace and patience, but we do. And it sure feels a heck of a lot better when I believe that. And when I think maybe God or maybe my family, the people that love me, aren't as sick of me as I can be with myself. So squash that lie that keeps saying that you're boring. Your life is over. There's nothing more exciting for you in life. You've done it all. You've seen it all. There's nothing left. That is the biggest bunch of bull crap I have ever heard. There is so much vastness out there, and don't be scared of that. Well, that's it. I've been crying back and forth. I've had a million different thought patterns. I've unfortunately had so much social anxiety lately because I've had to talk more at work. Like, I really am all over the place. You guys, I am all over the place. Okay, well, I hope any of that made sense. Let's do a Dear Abby, and then we will end today's episode. Also, I'm so sorry that my video is not working anymore. My camera died, even though I have it plugged in, so I don't know what's happening with it, but it's a real bummer.
Dear Abby, it is so nice to talk to you. I have been listening to your podcast for about a year now, and I've always wanted to submit a question. I just haven't, and I know that you need more callers, so consider this my first. I'll probably message you more questions because I feel like every time I listen to your podcast, it just gets me thinking, and I always love to hear your take on certain topics. I just finished your episode where you discussed the creative process and really showing up for yourself and investing in yourself. And one of the big projects that I'm working on right now is making my house a home. About 4 months ago, I moved into my own 1-bedroom apartment. It's my first time living alone, and it's my first time really having to invest in making a house a home. I'm so curious on how you have made your house a home on a budget while you're still growing, before your husband moved in, if you worked with him to come up with ideas on making your space more cozy. And I know you like to do a lot of things DIY, and so do I. So how you kind of manage to make your house very, very you. I hope that made any sense. And thank you so much if you end up answering this.
Okay, first, thank you so much for the compliments and for listening and for sending in a voicemail. Okay, that's above and beyond. Thank you very much. It's also crazy that I've been recording for that long. Weekly. Wow. I record weekly too. Okay. I love, love, love this question. This is like such a big deal because for me, I love this question because being older, and I think a lot of women feel this way, and I'm sure some men also feel this way, but there's something so comforting and exciting about creating like your little nest, your home. And it is really important to make it your home. It can genuinely be tricky to figure out what you actually want your home to look like, to feel like. Actually, not to feel. I do think we all just want it to feel like home. And to describe that feeling is hard, but it's just a sense of belonging somewhere is like what a home is and how to feel like a home. Even if it's a temporary home, it's still a home, and it's important to make it feel comfortable for yourself and inspiring. So I'd say the first thing is it's awesome to get inspo from Pinterest, from maybe other people, but be wary of looking too much about what's trendy or what like your eye just sees all the time. Sometimes we can think that we like something, and then when it's in our home and we have it, it feels like that's not actually us, or it might not feel like you fully. It feels like it looked cute online or it looked cute in a picture, and it looks cute in person. It just might not feel like you or your home. So getting inspo is amazing. but I've had to be wary myself of, I don't want it to just have a certain look. I want to build my home, like brick by brick type of a thing. There's beauty and patience with building your home or decorating your home and collecting pieces, creating pieces. I am not like an interior designer, so when it comes to the actual design, I am not going to be super helpful. I know textures are important. When I actually started to design my apartment, I went to look physically at colors that I liked in person. Like I saw a bunch of pictures on Pinterest, like I had a whole Pinterest board, as we do sometimes. And then I had to go look in person to be like, what do I actually feel drawn to? What makes it feel like me, my home? What textures do I like? What colors? What patterns? Us women are very intuitive, and that is a gift. Sometimes in this day and age, that can be ripped away from us because it might be looked at as woo woo, but it is important to us. And this is part of it, as building your home, making a house a home. It's a gift that we have. I also used, to be logistical, I used Procreate and other like Canva and other things to kind of design my rooms before I bought anything or did anything. Like, what color of wood do I like? What feels like it is like a heart opening vibe for me. And I added colors together to see if they looked well. And like it was basically a collage. And that helped me pick out my colors. I do a lot of thrifting. I do a lot of estate sales to get little gizmos and gadgets. I've been given a lot of stuff as well, but with that, I also have to be wary. I'm really grateful when I get hand-me-down stuff or, furniture from somebody that didn't want it anymore, and just always grateful for that. And sometimes when I get something that I'm like, this just isn't what I want in my house, I just have to accept that I'm going to have to buy it myself. And that's okay. And that's a good thing to do, because if it's going to make me feel more at home, then that's worth me paying the money. You make money to spend money, to live. On a budget, I think, yeah, thrifting, estate sales, be really intentional about like, I need something here, what would look good here, and then search for that. Sometimes we can go to markets or thrift shops and we can just throw stuff in that I think would look good somewhere. But I find that stressful when I come home with it, because sometimes I'm like, I don't actually have anywhere to put it, or it doesn't actually look good with my apartment. So I think it's more exciting when I talk about patience and building it brick by brick. It's like, okay, I need a painting that goes above this plant in this room, and I kind of want these colors. And then you search for that for a couple of weeks. Sometimes it can take like a year to find something. But then if you find the perfect piece and you're like, this is it, and you get it and you put it up and it looks amazing, that is like the best feeling. And I think that's what I mean by building it brick by brick, and it's more exciting to me when I'm patient to find something that I really love than to just like get everything set up and then I'm like, I don't even really like how I have it set up. I also love DIY with house stuff and apartment stuff. Like my husband's parents put in, for like our wedding gift, they put in some like little wooden shelves in our kitchen, because we just have a studio, so we have our beds like in our kitchen. We just needed more shelving, so they put that in, and it's old wood that Keaton used to use for his shelving in his car when he lived in his car. It's just fun to repurpose things that we already had. I think that's actually all of my advice that I can think of for making a house a home. Something that I think makes a house a home specifically is fridge magnets and stuff on your fridge. Like, I have printed pictures of my husband and I, our wedding invitation. I have a robot silhouette that is made out of magnets that I put because it just is funny to me. It just is a cute little robot on my fridge when I look at it, and it's in colors that I like. So just print stuff out and put it on your fridge if you need a house to feel more like a home. And then get an old culinary cookbook that's like cute, but also that you can make recipes out of, and then make memories with some of the stuff that you have around the house, because I think that's what makes it a home as well. And obviously have fun with it. Trust your intuitive homemaking skills. Okay. Yeah, that's it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for listening. As always, if you want to support the podcast, you can leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, or just Spotify, I guess. And I also post my videos on YouTube, even though this video will not be on YouTube. Well, it'll be on there, but it'll be half, like 10 minutes of video, and then it turns off. So again, sorry about that. I'm a one-woman show, so sometimes there are technical difficulties. That's what happens, baby. Yeah, usually I do post full video, so you can comment, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram as well, Dear Abby Podcast, or just Dear Abby is my normal social account. If you want me to talk about anything specific, my DMs are open, or just for any reason, my DMs are open. And if you want to submit a Dear Abby question, the phone number is in the description, and you can call, text. And if you call it, don't worry. I'm not going to answer it. If you're scared, I'm going to like answer the phone. It'll ring, I believe, and then it gets sent to voicemail, and then you leave a voicemail, and that's what I read out loud. I realize some people might be scared to leave a voicemail because they think, what if I answer? Which maybe they want me to answer, maybe they don't want me to answer. I could see both. I could see both happening. Okay. Thank you so much for listening and supporting my podcast. It means the absolute world to my little old soul, to my little old heart. I hope you guys have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend. Be kind to yourself. Take yourself out. Have fun. Take that time to reset your mental health and to take that seriously. Take your life seriously because your heart deserves that. And thank you for listening. Love you guys. Bye.
우회전 taking a ride to journey 눈치 보면서 들어가야 할 때 찾아 나머진 바빠 개설레임 바꾸는 사람들